Good evening, friends and family of Grace Lutheran Church. This Sunday is Transfiguration Sunday at Grace, and we are singing the hymn, O Wondrous Type, O Vision Fair. It's number 413 in the Lutheran Service Book, and this is the official hymn of the day for Transfiguration Sunday. So we will be singing this hymn at the same time as bunches of other people in different churches all over the place this Sunday. If you look at the bottom of the page, you see some information about the text. I just want to walk you through a little bit of information about this hymn before we sing it on Sunday so you guys feel a little bit prepared to sing. So we see that the text comes from something called the Sarum Breviary from Salisbury, 1495. Breviary is a book that contains orders of service and prayers and hymns. So, sort of like our hymnal does today. And this Latin text comes from a 1495 service book. So we have it translated by a preacher named John Mason Neal. And Neal is a prolific translator and writer. We have 22 of his translations in our hymnal. So he has a lasting mark on English language hymnody. And we see that reflected in our Lutheran service book. So this hymn opens with the words, O Wondrous Type. A lot of modern hymnals I found as I was kind of looking into this hymn changed that word to sight. So instead of saying, O wondrous type, O vision fair, they'll say, O wondrous sight, O vision fair. And I think the reason they do that is because this word type has sort of fallen out of use, at least in the way that it's used in this hymn, sort of fallen out of use in our everyday language. And so they change it to this word sight because we get that, right? But I think it's good to keep that word type in there. So what is a type when we see it in one of our hymns, or if you hear Pastor Wilsey use it in a sermon or something like that? Well, Merriam-Webster gives one of its definitions for the word type as this definition. It says, a person or thing, as in the Old Testament, believed to foreshadow another, as in the New Testament. So even Merriam-Webster recognizes that this is still a word that we use in our religious practices. So to give you an example of a type, something that foreshadows or is a type of something else, right? For instance, like the flood. 1 Peter in chapter 3 calls the great flood a type of the great flood of baptism. Both of these things that cleanse and then bring new life. So we have a couple of other types as well that we see in the story of Transfiguration, Moses and Elijah. Moses and Elijah represent the law and the prophets, but they are also types of Christ. They prefigure Christ in their lives. So those are three types that we know of in our Christian life, but this hymn says that Jesus is a type. So what is Jesus a type of? Well, the glorious Christ at Transfiguration is a type of the glory of God to come. So I jokingly said to Pastor that Jesus is a type of himself. But really, Jesus here in his glorious state is prefiguring the glory of God to come in other places. The Lutheran Study Bible tells us that this includes the glory of God to come in Christ's resurrection, at his ascension, and then ultimately in the heavenly kingdom. So this event is a glimpse at the glory of God that we will ultimately experience in full on the last day. And so this hymn really walks through the events of Transfiguration, what happened, who was there, what they heard, and then what it means for us now and in eternity. It's a prayer, and we close it all out praying that God would keep us in faith so that someday we do get to experience that full glory of which Christ at Transfiguration is a type. But Pastor Wilsey should get into all of that more in his sermon, so I will let him take it from there. I am going to link a video of this hymn that you can follow it, and you can go to YouTube to watch it. And I encourage you to listen to the words and to think about what we're going to be singing before we do it this Sunday. and I look forward to being there to sing it with you. We'll see you then. Thank you.